Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Welcome to the shop. Y'all come on in and make yourself comfortable. Today we're going to make a tool designed to help us out with our mini lathes. You see, I just picked this one up off Craigslist for a song. Wanted to put it into service and realized I hadn't made one of these yet. You're probably asking yourself, so what is that and why do you need to make one to use this lathe? So let me show you folks something real quick, okay? So some of you may have mini lathes and you put a piece of wood in the between centers and you start to tighten it up, right? And next thing you know, this right here is moving back. Instead of it tightening up against the wood, you're just moving that tailstock back. These little handles are great and they do an okay job, but you can't ever seem to get them tight enough. Years ago on my other little mini lathe, I made one of these, and what that does is it slips right down over that, and with just one little pop, you see it didn't move it far, but now when you go to tighten that down, the tailstock's not sliding. It's tight in place, and it just gives you that little bit of leverage. So what we'll do, let's go ahead and make one of these. I'm going to move the little mini lathe out of the way, since I don't really want to turn with it sitting here on the beds of the one-way, and I really don't have cameras set up over where I keep this one, okay? So I'll move it out of the way, I'll be right back, and I'll show you how I make this, and I think if you make one, you'll absolutely love it. Let me know in the comments what you think about it after you've made it, or if you've already made something similar, share with the rest of us what you did to help with this situation, okay? Okay folks, got everything set up and I'll let you guys get a little bit of a preview. I have got a Jacob's chuck mounted into the headstock on the lathe. We've got a 1/2 inch drill bit because that's what I need for my lathe. Your lathe may be different. You may need a smaller hole in the handle or a larger hole in the handle. Either way, adjust that to where it works for you. The blank that I have here is 11 inches long and it's 1 7/8 inches square. Around the area that's going to be over that metal handle on your lathe, you probably need to leave plenty of wood there just for a little extra strength. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? Okay folks, so we'll go ahead and we've got a divot in both ends. We'll go ahead and start this. We're going to be pushing this blank up onto the drill bit using the tailstock. We'll go ahead and start our lathe turning. Make sure we've got the end of that bit in the little divot we started, and we're just going to feed it right on in there. You don't want it going real fast, but you don't want it going too slow either. At this speed, if it starts to grab, I can just simply turn loose of it. Let's back it off. Be somewhat cautious when you're backing it off, because this Jacob's chuck is just stuck up here in the headstock. Once you're in there that far, you can really just push it right on in. And we're going about 4 inches deep. How deep you go depends on your lathe and how far you need it to go up in there. Okay, if you've got a cone center, this is a great time to use it. That hole that you just drilled, we're going to put it over the cone center, and we're going to take the other end and run it right up against the drive center. And now we can do some turning. Remember, we're just taking those corners off at this point. Again, when you're making this cut, guys, even with a roughing gouge, get in the habit of don't move your arms, but move your body. And let your body swing back and forth. Give you a view there so you can see what I'm doing. My hand is, my right hand is located right against my waist. My left hand is locked into the tool and sliding right along the tool rest. Okay, not bad. We'll go ahead and finish that up. I'm going to work with a skew a little bit here. Then again, guys, most of the time when I'm sharpening my skew, I'm just using a diamond stone to hone that. It doesn't take much. The big thing is, don't let it get dull. And I don't know if you can tell, hopefully I can bring it in here. I'm rubbing this back here on the back of that bevel, and then I will bring it forward to where it comes across that cutting edge. What you don't want to do is roll that cutting edge over. What we're going to do, our hole is down on this end that's going to go into the, or over the piece. We're going to bevel that. Okay, we're going to come in and we're going to make some peeling cuts right along here to smooth that out a little bit. Nice thing with cutting that skew is that end does not need sanded at all. This is pretty smooth. Might still need just a little bit of sanding in a couple of spots, but not bad at all. We're going to make us some marks here. And I ended up cutting this one off just a little bit. I'm going to make this handle just a little bit shorter on the hand grip, just because of who's going to be using it, okay? That we're going to be concave in here. We're going to come back, make just a little bit of detail in here, and then we're going to bring this down, and that's going to be our handle right there. Again, the best tip I can give you guys on the skew or any other tool is drive it from the back of the handle. A lot of folks want to pull with this hand. Try to avoid that. We're just rolling that over that there just a little bit. Again, just to give it a little bit of detail. We're going to make some pretty good cuts in here. We want to get that handle down. Okay. And then we'll just roll that over. And we're going to taper this down from the top. And now we're forming the top of the handle. This part here is what's going to be in your hand. So on this one, I'm going to leave just a little bit of a larger area in the center. You can play with these handles, guys, and get them to exactly what feels right for you. Now that we've got that done, I'm going to come in with a bowl gouge and just match this up right here. Now, one of the things that I always do before I call a handle done is I move the tool rest back and I grab a hold of it. That fits my hand pretty good, so that means it's too big for this application. This is probably still a little bit large. We need to take that down a little bit. We definitely need to take that down a little bit, so let's see what we can do here. Now, you guys will notice I'm doing the same thing with the bowl gouge I was just doing with the skew. So I've had a few folks comment that if they could use a skew, they could do what I do. You don't need to use a skew to make any of this. I like to use a skew because I'm not very good at it and I need to practice. Okay, so we're going to bring the handle here down. I noticed that especially up here in the larger areas where it felt a little big for me. This cherry that we're turning is bone dry. I got a deal on these at Rockler probably 10 years ago. They were dry then, and they've been setting in air-conditioned environment ever since. So you can just imagine how dry they really are. That's why you see so much dust and hardly any shavings. There's just really not any shavings to come off of this. It's so dry. So I'm going to do some sanding and I'll be right back, okay? Hey folks, while I'm doing the sanding, do me a big favor. Go down and hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing, a thumbs down if you don't. But most of all, leave me a comment. What I'd like to know is how many of you folks out there are turning on a mini lathe? If you're turning on a mini lathe, go down in the comments, leave a comment, let me know, okay? Thanks. I'll be right back. Okay folks, we've got the sanding done. This end is finished. However, we've still got where our drive center was in this end. We want to make that look a little nicer, okay? What we've done is put our Jacob's chuck and drill bit back in the lathe. We're going to put our handle right up on the Jacob's, or on the drill bit. Cone center right back up into the divot on the end of the handle. And we're going to come in and round that off. So let's just grab our 3/8 spindle gouge. And all we're doing right here basically is just curving this over. Turn back just enough so we get rid of that point. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and hit that some sandpaper real quick. And when you're doing this, it doesn't take a lot. Some folks seem to think I spend a whole lot of time sanding. I really do not. First of all, I rarely sand past about 400, most of the time about 320. That was 150. This is 220 right here. And then we'll hit it with just a little bit of 320. Then we can actually come in and just take that last little bit off. We're going to grab our power sander and we're just going to touch it just a little bit. That completes our handle. All we've got to do now, folks, is put some finish on it. A couple of coats of Minwax antique oil on this, and we'll have a nice satin finish, and that's one of the reasons I like that particular finish. You put a couple of coats on, wipe it off, you get a satin finish. You continue to apply coats and just let it dry, you get a really high gloss finish. And folks, you can find the link to Minwax antique oil down below in the description. I've got several other links of things that I use that if you go down and click on those, full disclosure, the channel gets some small commissions on that. It's a couple of %. It doesn't cost you any extra and helps out the channel. So if you're looking for something, go down, click on one of those links. It helps me either way. I really appreciate it. A lot of times, and just so you guys know what I'm talking about, Minwax antique oil finish, they do not pay me. I am not sponsored by Minwax, nor do I get anything from Minwax. It's just what I like to use, and I want to share that with you guys, okay? I do like that cherry when you put finish on it. It sure does look nice. Like I said, normally I use a brush for this, but this is such a small project that I'm just going to wipe it on and leave it. That cherry is so dry, it's absorbing that finish really fast. Folks, like I said, this one is just a little bit shorter than the original. Overall length of the new one is 9 inches. Overall length of the old one is 10 5/8. Hopefully that will help some of you folks out. If you have a mini lathe, make yourself one of these. I think it's something that you'll enjoy a lot, you'll get a lot of use of, and it just helps you to kind of tighten that tailstock down just a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go cranking on it, but you give you a little bit more to help it hold it in place where it should be to begin with. Folks, thank you so much for watching my videos. I truly hope this helps you. Remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.